श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जू की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शतरशतश्मार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शतरशतश्मार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शतरशतश्मार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शतरशतश्मार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शतरशतश्मार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्ट महाभागवत श्री गोरक्षरस बाबाजी महाराज की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्ट श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानुगौर्य गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शार गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम अक्षय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट विदाते गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। जय श्री श्यामानंद प्रभु की जय। तदीय शुभ तिरुभाव तिथि की जय। जय श्री दैनिक नादिया प्रकाश की जय। All the periodicals of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai, and all the periodicals of all of his followers ki jai, all of his jai, Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj ki jai, jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna.
Gomata ki jai.
Jai. Shamali Dhenu ki jai. Haribol. All right, so we are now beginning our 11th Dainika Nadīyā Prakāśa session. And we are going to be, the Dainika Nadīyā Prakāśa, in case you're just coming for the first time, is the daily daily newspaper of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, under the editorship of Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. He was the head editor and writer for that. And yeah, every Sunday we go through these articles, and all these articles that we're reading you can find on nadiyaprakash.com, NADIYAPRAKASH.com. And so I'm going to hand, oh wait, no, let's do a short Jaidvani and then we'll start. Shoot. 1 second. Mangalachara. Sorry, I just realized we should do that. Okay, I'm just going to start singing and I'll open it up. Ajnanatirandhasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai shri guruve namaha. Guruve gaurachandraya radhikaya tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Tividito Goriya Gorvandvaye Bhato Bhanuri Bhato Bhanuriva Prabhata Gagane Yogora Sankirtanai Maya Varati Mingilo Daragatan Udritya Jiva Niman Krishna Prema Sudabdi Gahana Sukam Pradhat Prabhung Tang Bhaje Vande Bhakti Vinodang Shri Gaura Shakti Swarupakam Bhakti Shastragya Samrajam Radharasa Sudha Nidhim Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namane Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugavarayate Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
What was that one?
Oh, this is the full thing I do for the Bhaktivinoda Gita Dhara program. From Godrum Chandrabhadran Upadesh. I'm gonna just skip to the end of Tavai Vasmi na jivami tvaya vina iti vigyaya devi tvang nayamang charanantikam bhaktya vihina aparada lakshay kshiptashtakama dittaranga madhye kripa maitvam sharanam prapanna vrinde namaste charanarvindam Aja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. One of these days, I'm going to make a special Jaidwani for this program, but for now, I'm just using the Bhaktivinoda Gita Dhara one. So, all right. I'm going to hand it over to you, Śrīvāsa.
All righty. Oh,
wait,
I need screen sharing.
I always forget to do that every single time without fail. Okay, now you can do
Alrighty. So, Shri Shri Guru Gaurango Jayataha, 8th of Chaitra, Wednesday, 1334, March 21st, 1928. See my screen? Yes, okay. So this is going to get into the nitty-gritty of the controversy or the dispute over Mahaprabhu's birthplace. So,
and as I mentioned before, I really want to have, I really want to get Lalit Madhav on to one of these for this topic, because he's done a whole PhD on this kind of, on Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but I remember on Namrasa's podcast, he was starting to speak all about this, anyways, he's very knowledgeable in this topic, so he might have some very interesting things to share also.
Well, it goes on for quite a while, so we have some time to, cool. Several issues have addressed this topic. Okay. All right, so Mahaprabhu's birthplace. Wait, you can hear me? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, loud and clear.
Take off my headphones.
But when you get a chance, could you zoom in also?
What did you say?
Could you zoom in also?
Okay. So Mahaprabhu's birthplace in Sri Navadvīpa is Mahaprabhu Sri Chaitanya Dev's birthplace. That Navadvīpa is on the eastern bank of the Ganga. During the age of Kali, or the age of argument, this location has been switched. The eastern bank of Navadvīpa is now on the western bank. Ancient Navadvīpa was on Ganga's eastern bank. Even today, everyone identifies that area as Antardvīpa or Bhitardvīpa, inner island. In Ramchandrapur, Kakur Mart, Kakur Field, it's like a floodplain. On the western bank of the Ganga is called Bahirdvīpa, outer island. Everyone in Kulia Paharapur, it's Navadvīpa town today, knows this fact. Once Choto Pal Saheb became the landlord of Kankur Mart, why is he trying to promote his Bahirdvīpa land as being Antardvīpa land? On whose enticement and to what end has he subverted the truth in this way? Why has Chotopal Saheb's boss come from Chaktaha on the advice of Sarotia's Veshdhari or Vesh-wearing Singhaji and helped him raise this flag, promote this. We have not been able to understand what is going on. Sripad Shankaracharya says that which appears to be artha, wealth, to those who are averse to Ishwar is actually anartha. Sri Chaitanya Dev has preached that if one does not renounce sense enjoyers and illicit connection with women, then the result in the realm of bhajan is like consuming poison. Today, in Sri Chaitanya Dev's own name, those opposed to the bhajan he taught are actively going against his wishes and opposing him. The singer Ramdas Babaji supposedly belongs to the lineage of Nishkinchan Param Bhagavat Sri Jagannath Das Babaji Mahashaya. Has he not committed an offense at Vaiṣṇava Sarvabhauma's feet by going against the place designated by Vaiṣṇava Sarvabhauma as Mahaprabhu's birthplace? The Veshadhari, garb-wearing Singhaji of Sarutiya, who goes by the name Kunjarara Babaji, has committed serious offenses at the feet of Vaiṣṇava Sarvabhauma. Have they not demonstrated Guru Droha, antagonism to Guru? The antagonism Chotapalaji is throwing himself into, as per the advice of Saratiya Singhaji, is counterproductive to the efforts of Hari Seva made by his father's elder brother, Param Bhagavat Rajarshi Bhakti Bhushan, who was a supporter of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Taking the support of Singhaji, despite hearing and knowing all this, does not bring honor to Chotapalji's family legacy. Has Chotapal Sahib decided to charge against the truth because he is compelled to, as a citizen of the Paikapara king, to accept the instructions of Saratiya Singha, the discoverer of the birthplace of Gauranga Singha? This is one thing I want to clear up. Who is Gauranga Singha? He seems to be not Mahaprabhu. He seems to be someone who appeared later than Mahaprabhu, and they're trying to conflate his identity with Mahaprabhu. Because, you know, it says, oh, the birthplace of Gauranga Singha, it's actually somebody else. But like, no, look, it's Mahaprabhu's birthplace. That's, I think, is going on, but I need to verify that. Gauranga Singha, who was his boss's ancestor. He has profited immensely by demonstrating acts of service to the Singha Mahashaya dynasty. Postmaster Babu, a Brahmin from Dogachi and descendant of Balaram. Balaram was a son of Advaita Acharya, one of the rejected sons of Advaita Acharya. Failed to prop up Gauranga Nagarivad, so he has ended up a supporter of Gauranga Singh's birthplace as a way of making up for his previous failure. Everything is possible during the age of Kali. How did an 80-year-old see the Ram Sita temple that collapsed in 1799, Christian era? That is something that needs to be investigated. The current year is 1849 Shakabda. So an 80-year-old would have been born in 1769 Shakabda or 1847. So we have failed to comprehend how he saw a temple that disappeared 48 years before his current birth. Unless it was in his previous birth. It seems he remembers his past life. It seems Singha Babaji, newly arrived from Saratiya, has utterly tremendous courage to explain all this, and how he understands what he is saying is also incredible. Now that Engineer Babu has gotten the facts from Sub-Engineer Babaji, there's a Pandit, there's a Mahashai, who is kind of like the front man, and he's like getting these assemblies together, these events together to promote this, but he's doing it under the guidance of this Babaji. Well, this Babu is apparently an engineer. Anyways, so there's some puns going on here. You'll get it as we read along. Engineer Babu has gotten the facts from Sub-Engineer Babaji. Now that he is putting together a committee, and to lay a foundation for the formation of such a committee, we figure he will acquire some pieces of stone as evidence. We figure he is thinking of ancient Navadvīpa, Māyāpur's ancient glory, Balal Sen's Dippi, which he helped preserve for the government while in their employ. If there is no use for uncle, then best he goes on a Ganges pilgrimage, it's a Bengali saying. Better the archaeological evidence from Balal Dippi goes to some use. So I guess the idea is that they've appropriated some archaeological evidence from the other side of the Ganga. And anyways, Now the engineers are running around on the orders of the sub-engineer, but usually it has always been the sub-engineers who followed the lead of the engineers. Their policy entails that Bahirdvīp is Antardvīp. The engineers are now subservient to the sub-engineers. An 80-year-old man can see a temple that disappeared 48 years before his birth. Bringing all these ludicrous claims before an educated society at the start of the 20th century is simply laughable. The information in Bhai-Digdarshini, which is full of errors, is standard reading for Calcutta University's MA exam. So everything is possible. Shri Navadvīpa Dham has a 32-mile circumference. The whole of Navadvīpa is circumambulated in 9 days of Navadvīpa Parikrama. This surely everyone knows. So where did these people come to know that Navadvīpa is 32 miles in size? If you just think about that once, you'll be able to understand what is going on. Like basically, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Saraswati Thakur, they've been promoting and educating people about Navadvīpa Dham, the location of all the holy sites and everything based on Bhakti Ratnakar and other texts. And, you know, like this has informed everyone else and created an influx of people coming into the Dham. And now these other people are trying to profit off of that and subvert the truth. A Brahmanda 50 koti yojana in size is even smaller than a measure of 12 fingers compared to Vaikuntha. The frivolous speculations of people who are happy to accept that the relocation of Sri Chaitanya Dev's birthplace from Sri Māyāpur Yogapit to a spot some 2 or 3 miles away, this can be attributed to meteoric disturbance, cannot be the subject of serious discussion anymore. I don't know what this means. I think maybe someone came up with an idea that everything shifted because of a meteor strike. That's what meteoric disturbance means, as far as I understand. But I mean, who knows? Sri Chaitanya Dev is present within each and every subatomic particle in Sri Māyāpur. That is infinite millions of yojanas huge. Therefore, his appearance place is not confined to the inert lumps of empirical deliberators. This too is something they cannot understand. Where the material lumps interrupt the vision of transcendence, the Sat Sahitya Parishad, Society of Genuine Literature, gets replaced by some fanciful editor or member of the Bangiya Sahitya Parishad, who is intoxicated with singing a ballad of the discovery of the birth site to satisfy his own personal vendetta. No one of the actual Sat Sahitya Parishad condones any of these efforts. So yeah, if you're feeling lost, confused, join the party. So am I. It's kind of a flurry of facts and details. Some of the other articles are a little bit more clear. There's quite a few gaps in that one, though. I hope to clear that out.
Do you know how, like, what time how long after Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's disappearance, they said, oh, we found the real birthplace of Mahaprabhu?
No, I think you asked me that question before. I'm not sure.
I did, didn't I? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Should note that and try to find the answer to that. Anyways, okay, so next section.
Just one other thing I'd be curious to find out more about is at Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj's, like, at Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj's Samadhi, there's, you know, there's a whole bunch of people there. I'm just curious what they think about it all also.
Yeah, I think a lot of them switch sides. That's my understanding. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'll let you continue.
Okay, so next one is Sāmpradāyikatā, which means sectarianism. Vaiṣṇavas are always endeavoring to establish a mood of brotherhood with the whole world. So sectarianism cannot remain among them. Though virulent sectarianism is observed among bharavahi, burden-bearing individuals who are Vaishnavas only in name, there is truly no manner of sectarianism among Saragrahi Vaishnavas. Some may be surprised to hear this and say, what is this you're saying? We see among Vaishnavas there are Shri, Brahma, Rudra, Sanak, these 4 types of sectarian differences. or sects that go that stem from an eternity ago. And we even see debate that goes on between them. What is this new perspective you're spouting today? To that we say that though this sort of sectarian differentiation is prominent among the Bharavahi types and creates conflict, we see that it is resolved in the perspective of the Saragrahi types. We insist that the four Sampradāya differences that are being observed among Vaishnavas are not differences originating from the core tattva vastu, or spiritual fundamentals. Rather, these differences represent the diversity of Vaishnava tattva. I think this is an interesting point. Param Gurudev makes this point in his Achintya Ved article that Sampradayas can only be differentiated on the basis of their upasya. Right? So there is some. So we have some differentiation between the Shri, who are worshiping Lakshmi Narayan, and we're worshiping Krishna, right? But actually, we're all worshiping Vishnu, right? So actually, there's no difference. There's actually no separation between any of the Vaishnava Sampradayas. We're all one. But there's a diversity. Gurudev would say this, right? There's a difference between Matabhed. This is also from that article of Param Gurudev. There's a difference between having actual differences of opinion and having Matavaishishya, unique specialities or special perspectives on a subject, rather than having a totally different belief system. If one studies Sriman Mahaprabhu's life history, one will see that he brought the perspectives of the four Sampradayas together and demonstrated their ultimate culmination. Within his conclusions, there is a reconciliation of all the doctrines. He has preached the profound conclusions of Shastra and quelled all scriptural debate. Neither he nor his followers had any animosity toward the followers of other religions, but they never, in the name of dharma, condone adharma, irreligion, jaladharma, phony religion, or the upadharma, or dharma destruction, or iconoclasm, I think that's how I say it, of Mayavadis. And his followers neither are condoning nor ever will condone such things. The conclusions of Saragrahi Vaishnavas is that though there's a great diversity among human beings according to the regions they live in, the times they live in, their respective cultures, languages, attire, etc., the real fact of the matter is that as human beings, they are all one and the same. Mutual conflict, war, destruction of life, violence, enmity, etc. between human beings are results of the idea that they are different. Though all these human beings exist in a variety of states of being, those of a scientific bent divide the human condition into two classes. One is sarupgat, or nature-dependent, and the other is sambandhagat, or relation-dependent, or relative. Hence, all human religion also exists in two main categories, sambandhagat and sarupgat. Sarupgata dharma is of one variety. Another name for sarupgata dharma is Vaishnava dharma. Sambandhagata dharma, on the other hand, is of four types: Shakta, Shaiva, Saura, Ganapatya. It is best if Swarupgata dharma is the focus of every human being, because that is the eternal dharma of the living entity. Sambandhagata dharma is temporary. Once our relation with matter is dispelled, we will not retain any connection to this dharma. Therefore, it is imperative that when we are at a sambandhic, materially interactive level, we adopt this sambandha type dharma as a staircase to ascend toward Swarupagata dharma, and gradually strive to climb to higher steps. If we are so engrossed in what our adhikar, or eligibility, dictates, that we do not consider another person's adhikar and criticize their level of eligibility, then the only thing that will strengthen is our bharavahita, the burden bearer's mentality. This is the scientific discernment of Saragrahis in relation to dharma. You have this really puzzled expression on your face, Madhukar.
Didn't mean anything.
Dūradarśitā, foresight. There is a kind of person in this world who just hears one part of the statement, Ashvatthama hata, Ashvatthama has been killed, and either becomes happy or sad, depending on whether they perceive that portion of the statement as favorable or unfavorable to their own self-interests. And so they do not wait to hear the last part of the statement, which is iti gaja. He is an elephant. He was an elephant. This was uttered by Yudhishthir during the war of Kurukshetra, when they wanted to get Dronacharya to put down his weapons and stop fighting, because they simply couldn't defeat him. So he was Ashvatthama hata iti gaja, really quietly. There's another kind of person who does not care what others are saying or want to say, and is simply immersed in the sound of his own voice, like me. Like someone has started shouting at someone, and the person being shouted at is responding, but who's going to hear that response? How can someone who has put a lock on their own ears with their own yelling hear someone else's response? As a result of this, they are likely to become so overwhelmed with anger that they start hitting themselves in the head, or they might express their anger towards the person they are yelling at, inflicting the opposite of well-being upon them. Is anybody familiar with that? I can relate. There is no limit to how many examples of this kind of immaturity there are in the world. The fate of these nearsighted, unfortunate individuals ends up being ito bhrashtas tato nashtaha, ruining what is here and destroying what is there in the next life. In Shastra, there are two divisions of any topic: a purva paksha, proposition, and an uttara paksha, a refutation or answer. Those who want to arrive at the conclusion of scripture by one-sided reliance on only the purva paksha end up with their discussion of scripture turning into nothing but a frog's raucous croaking. In other words, just as the frog croaks and invites his own death in the form of a snake, such persons also affect their own self-destruction. Those who hear the Purva Paksha and have the patience to hear the Uttara Paksha, or the conclusion of the Mahajans, have the fortune of realizing the true purport of scripture. Intelligent persons do not encourage those who are foolish and neglect the conclusions of the Mahajans. Are those who become compelled by their own contrived ideas and undertaken endeavors to establish their own perspective while neglecting the conclusions indicated in Sri Chaitanya Bhagava, Sri Chaitanya Charita Mahakabhya, Sri Bhakti Ratnakar, etc., not sinking in an ocean of great misfortune due to the offense of neglecting the words of the Mahajans? What competitive spirit has invigorated them so that they want to disregard the statements of the Mahajans? As servants of the Mahajans, we are particularly keen on refuting them. People who mistake falsity for truth and become vivartavadis, those believing in a delusion, will just keep shouting and put their own lock on their ears. As people who want their well-being, we cannot tolerate this situation anymore and are firmly resolved to remedy it. It is as if they think that clouds never have the audacity to cover the sun. The Dham is self-manifest like the sun, and its extremely bright rays, which burn the eyes of its antagonists, are not something its owl-like opponents can ever endure. So the dark night is the only thing that gives them comfort. But it is not as if we have to believe their word that the dark of night is actually the day flooded with sun rays. If owls, blind in the day, think very highly of their need to live in their pitch black holes, then let them think that. But the birds who want light, who follow the shukas, parrots, will not do that. They will refer to day as night and night as, they will refer to day as day and night as night, maintaining the virtue of truth. So now I'm picturing a great war between the owls and the parrots. Anyways, it can be the next Disney animation, Pixar. They will follow the path of the Mahajans. There is a group of people trying very hard to leap over the path of truth revealed by the Mahajans and instead pass off the path of falsity forged by ignoble persons as truth. Even though it is the age of Kali, and those efforts of theirs seem to be somewhat successful with those of their ilk, that is nothing but deception, fake news. This Kali is the age of the Shweta Baraha Kalpa. Although Kali Yuga is an age of adverse circumstances and dispute, the speciality of this age is that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Swayam Bhagavan Gaura Sundar, incarnated in this age with all his aspects, expansions, weapons, and associates. Therefore, though falsity may at first demonstrate some rivalry, it is only truth that is the self-manifest principle forever worshipped during this age. This is the age of truth, actually. Therefore, O noble people who have heart, our humble plea is that you do not mistake anyone's deceitful clinginess and restlessness for a Vaishnava's humility and accept the falsity they spout as truth. A person who has spent all their life indulging in illicit relations with women, who is not even by mistake associated with Vaishnavas, who has not heard the word of scripture from Bhagavatas who know the truths of scripture, whose sole life vow has been to spread lies, remains engrossed in all that is unrelated to Krishna, and safeguards those objects of enjoyment. How can such a person grant you any indication of the truth? Please consider both the Purva Paksha and the Uttar Paksha. Why would you allow yourselves to be brought to a faulty conclusion by becoming trapped by a one-sided view? Why would you be compelled by stubbornness and choose Vaishnava Aparad? Duryodhana fell prey to such obstinacy and achieved his total ruin. At first, you may imagine you are experiencing some delight, but it will cast you in an ocean of dejection for eternity. Try to think about that just once. A man's humanity depends on his capacity to discern right from wrong. Engage in deliberation under the guidance of the Mahajans. Know the truth, and you will gain supreme bliss. Shri Chaitanya Chandra Daya Karaho Bichar, Bichar Karile Chitte Pabe Chamatkar. Consider the mercy of Shri Chaitanya Chandra. If you do so, you will discover a profound sense of wonder in your heart. Ancient Navadvīpa, Sri Māyāpur. These articles are kind of all related. Satya Mondal was a village farmer from a bygone age. He had never seen a city. He had heard from people that there were great big buildings and round potatoes in the city, because potatoes we know today came from the Portuguese. One day, an elephant from the city came past his house and stopped at the base of a nearby fig tree. Out in the villages, people rarely saw an elephant, so a crowd of people gathered to see. One person asked Satya, "Hey Satya, tell me, what is that?" From what Satya knew of the city, it had buildings and round potatoes. So he said, "It's either a building or a round potato." Nowadays, many people who have never known anything about ancient Navadvīpa's history or geography and never kept up to date with such topics have heard about various forged maps from Babaji Baraj who lives in Kakurmat in Ramchandrapur, and have listened to the things he says. And now they're trying to combine what he is saying with what they had heard before. Is it not right that upon hearing all those various elusive claims, that those who have been discussing ancient Navadvīpa for 40 years now utilize the fruits of their knowledge? How Braj Mohan Das circulated advertisements with forged signatures, how he has drawn maps and tried to mislead people's minds, how he is obsessed with acquiring 50 bighas of land in Ramchandrapur, and how it will be worth lakhs later. This is an example of sleeping in a renunciate's tattered quilt and dreaming of lakhs of taka, and how several stone tablets and copper plates were buried and turned into ancient plinths. We will once again reveal all these details and strive to convey the truth to the world. Because this topic has been discussed extensively in the Gaudiya and Sajantoshini for a long time, all educated people are aware that Prachin Navadvīpa, ancient Navadvīpa, or Sri Māyāpur, is on the eastern bank of the Ganga, which is on the eastern bank of the Ganga, is Sriman Mahaprabhu's birthplace. I'm wondering, and this is a mission for you, maybe, Madhukar. Can you ask someone if there's this temple out in Ramchandrapur? Like, what is this temple? Right? Out back there by the school? Like, is there something out?
Is that area also not called Ramchandrapur, where the like where they
Golden Avatar?
established no, yeah, that is, but I'm wondering if where Mahaprabhu, like where they say Mahaprabhu's, the Babaji's, where they say that Mahaprabhu's where Yoga Pit is, if that is also Ramachandrapur. Like, does it extend up to
Okay,
that point?
yeah. Maybe. I thought it was something further off behind there.
Maybe. Yeah, okay, I will try to find out though.
Otherwise, next time I come to Navadvīpa, I'm going to be going around. Because has this just like they tried for a while and then they just failed miserably, and now it's just like nobody wants to talk about it? Is it all like hushed up? That's what I'm curious. All right. Next, how is auspiciousness achieved? How can Mangal, auspiciousness, be achieved? This is all anyone ever asks, because from Brahma to a blade of grass, every being wants auspiciousness. No one wants inauspiciousness. Countless souls have crafted countless means to obtain auspiciousness. And all these processes have been recorded as text, producing countless scriptures. The sole goal of all scriptures is to eradicate inauspiciousness and rouse auspiciousness. When we become anxious to obtain auspiciousness, then there are perhaps those among us who see the numerous doctrines of numerous sages and cannot understand which doctrine to adopt. So in the end, they just adopt atheism. Some resort to karma, gyan, or yoga to strive to achieve their own individual measures of auspiciousness for themselves. And then scholars start debating all of this among themselves. When we became anxious to obtain auspiciousness, having roamed here and there and ended up at the ultimate limit of inauspiciousness, when our hearts had thus become completely covered by bewilderment, then Bhagavan Shri Gaura Sundar, pained by our suffering, made himself like us and came to us, carrying the sum total of auspiciousness on his head, and said, "O Jivas, you are being endlessly tormented by suffering, like too much rain or not enough rain, and therefore famine, floods, cholera, smallpox, and other types of epidemics. You are suffering emotional pain due to the various tragedies that separate you from your loved ones. Otherwise, there are always kings inflicting various miseries upon you. If just once you take shelter in the shade of Krishna's lotus feet, all your torment will be eradicated for all time. Sakala mangala haite parama mangala chit swarupa sanatana veda baldi phalla Krishnam ekbar shraddai helai jahar badani se mukta shunishchay." More auspiciousness than all auspiciousness, personified conscious transcendence, everlasting, the fruit of the vine of the Vedas, one who utters the name of Krishna just once, either in faith or jest, is surely liberated. One day, for the sake of us jivas who long for auspiciousness, Bhagavan Gaur Sundar's eternal associate, Prabhu Sanatan, who is eternally liberated from all threefold miseries, asked, "Ke ami keno more jare ta patrai, iha nahi jani ke mone heta hai." Who are we? If we cannot understand our relationship with this world, then we, the jivas, cannot produce our auspiciousness in any way by our own efforts or by those of others. Bhikṣā. This is a submission. And this is a little note from Śrīla Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. One most exalted devotee who is seen to be blind by our indulgent, mundane vision, but is in fact endowed with transcendental eyes, has sent in this essay entitled Bhikṣā, which is full of the profound longings and prayers of his heart. Though his poetry does not boast the styles of modern worldly poetry, since it expresses naturally profound moods saturated in personified simplicity, and since it is desirable that this Bhikṣā alms be the Bhikṣā of every jiva who longs for the ultimate attainment, it has been published below. So then this is the devotee writing, and this is kind of introduction to a song he's written. By the mere touch of his merciful glance, which is boundless and unsolicited, even a person who is dumb because of being immersed in the ruckus of worldly gossip and having no interest in Krishna Kirtan, can very easily gain the capacity for Kirtan and perform Kirtan of the glories of Nityananda's lotus feet. By the strength of his mercy, a degraded householder who is trapped in materialistic worldly life and therefore crippled because he does not have the desire to circumambulate Bhagavan's abode, can gain the power to walk and cross over the huge treacherous terrain of the mountain of Mahamaya, the kingdom of gross and subtle bodies endowed with fragmented consciousness, Khandit Chetan, and thereafter gain capacity to roam the eternal abode of indivisible Akhanda Chetan, pure spirit. First of all, I offer my soul like flowers, relinquishing all my ego and bowing at the lotus feet of that Sri Sri Gurudev, the embodiment of Nityananda and the Prakāśa Vigraha, manifest form of Sriman Mahāprabhu, who is non-different from Brajendranandan, the one and only reservoir of ever auspicious compassion and bhakti, so that I may beg for this generous gift, Gurudev. Tava pade e bhikṣā kari dayamai, tomate amar chitta jana sadarai. At your feet, I beg these alms, O merciful, that my heart always remains fixed on you. Seva name bhogavancha nahi kari bhule, sabakarja hok mama tava priti mule. May I not, even by mistake, long for indulgence in the name of service. May all my activities be based on pleasing you. Tava pada seva chhadi maya sangsare, nana yoni brahmi dukkha paye bare bare. Leaving the service of your feet, in illusion cycle of birth and death, I roam many species of life and meet with sorrow again and again. Sangsarera daruna jala nashibare mama, ahaituka kripa sindhu tava. You are the ocean of causeless mercy, come to extinguish the ghastly blaze of material existence. Vishay bishta garte mor patita dekhiya, tava kache aniyacho karuna koriya. Seeing me fallen into the stool pit of sense enjoyment, you have mercifully brought me close to you. Pachiyami punachuti maya pashi jai, sadamor tava kache rakhiyacho tai. You have kept me with you constantly so that I do not again stray and go near Maya. Ei bhikṣā kare prabhu jenaya jahaite, akapate pari tava mahima gahite. I beg this, Master, that from today onwards I be able to sing your glories sincerely. Vidya buddhi hina yati dina yandhayami, tava guna varni bare shakti dao tumi. I am devoid of knowledge and intelligence. I am very fallen and blind. Give me the power to describe your virtues. Tumar karuna balaya dhamakai, tava pade padi jana gahi tava jai. By the strength of your mercy, this fallen soul falls at your feet, so that he may sing of your victory. Beautiful little kirtan by unknown Vaiṣṇava. Want to include this in the songbook? Okay. A Vaishnava's sense objects. Getting lawfully married and having children, caring for and protecting your children, getting your children to be capable in the world, giving them spiritual knowledge, and other related tasks help the world flourish and yield pious merit. These are the duties of a grihasta defined in scripture. Vaishnavas are not opposed to this. Grihasta Vaishnavas engage in these four aforementioned duties like any other pious householder. In no way is it appropriate to allow the mistaken idea that Vaishnavas are preaching the word of Paramartha, supreme attainment, while telling everyone to give up worldly life. I hear this so often even in our community, that we promote renunciation more than, or that especially Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, by starting all these months, promoted renunciation more than. Not true. In ancient times, Janak, Prahlad, Ambarish, Parikshit, and other exemplary Param Bhagavats were grihastas. They do not say that devotion to Hari can only happen if you leave home. They say, your duty is to take refuge wherever you have the opportunity to be in saintly association and increase the joy of bhajan. But if the home becomes opposed to Hari Bhajan, then an intelligent person should surely strive to remedy that situation. Now it is imperative to deliberate exclusively the matter of those striving to perform bhajan. Grihastha Vaishnavas do all the same things that pious householders do. But is there any difference between their execution of these duties? If we simply compare several of their outer behaviors, we will not be able to uncover their real secrets. There is no outer difference between the activities of a pious householder and a Grihastha Vaishnava, like Janak Prahlad Ambarish, or in this present age of Kali, like Śrīvāsa Pandit, Pundarik Vidyanidhi, and others. However, internally, there is a difference of earth and sky. First, we will express the difference in one statement. Then we will try as best we can to have the readers take it to heart. The difference is this. Though the activities of Janak, Ambarish, Śrīvāsa, and Pundarik are comparable to our own, their activities are transcendental and ours are mundane. Now let us examine the meaning of the two words aprakrit and prakrit, transcendental and mundane. Aprakrit refers to that which is full of service to Bhagavan, and prakrit refers to that which is geared toward one's own sense gratification. The devotees are always directing all their efforts for the sake of Krishna, so they are always accepting or rejecting all objects of enjoyment based on whether they are favorable or unfavorable to bhakti. Whereas we accept and reject all objects based on whether they are favorable or unfavorable to our own happiness. This is the difference between matter and spirit. Why Mahāprabhu's sannyas? One day, Mahāprabhu was sitting surrounded by his associates when he suddenly said, Karile pipali khanda kapha nibarite, ulatya ar kapha badila dehete. I used some pipali, it's the long pepper, to get rid of a cough, but instead, the cough just got worse. Saying this, he then also began laughing extremely loudly. This is Mahaprabhu's sense of humor. The devotees could not understand why he was doing this and became disconcerted. Nityananda, however, as Mahaprabhu's non-different second self, completely understood what Mahaprabhu meant. Nityananda understood that Sachinandan had become anxious to deliver the sophists, the Mayavadis, their students, and other Pashanda miscreants. So he was going to manifest his pastime of sannyas. What's the son of
sophist? Sorry.
Sophists, tarkics,
Logician or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's there's good logic, and then there's sneaky kind of what's the word? It's arguing in bad faith. Though the son of Padmavati knows all of Gaurasundar's pastimes, on this day it is as if he cannot maintain his composure. He is thinking, the Lord of the 14 worlds, the supreme Lord of even the demigods, the source of all incarnations, he is going to don the garb of a sannyasi? Alas, alas, that beautiful hair that captivates the devotees will be no more. The devotees are going to weep in anguish. Oh, those ever so tender lotus feet that Lakshmi Devi herself holds to her chest and still cannot be satisfied that her chest is soft enough. Now those feet are going to get injured by sharp stubs of grass. The expansion of his expansion is Karanabdishai Vishnu, by whose glance millions and millions of Brahmandas are created, maintained, and destroyed. My Lord, the Lord of all universes, the master of all living entities, is going to wear the garb of a lowly beggar and wander from door to door approaching these jivas? How am I supposed to maintain my composure at this sight? Nityananda's life heirs became very agitated. Baladev is acquainted with all the confidential secrets of Gaurasundar's incarnation of separation. He knows Gaurasundar is Krishna himself, absorbed in the mood of Shri Radha and looking for Krishna. But still, today, Nityananda is overwhelmed with sadness. Mahaprabhu took Nityananda's hand, pulled him aside, and began saying, Brother Nityananda, you know everything that is on my mind. I am here now to deliver the world, to have the jivas see me and have their bondage break. But the results so far have been most disadvantageous for them. When they came to beat me, I understood that I have not been able to deliver them. They have risen up in opposition of me, like Kamsa, Jarasandha, Shishupal, and others. and settled on their own self-annihilation. Alas, alas, in the name of delivering them, today I have come and destroyed them. Whatever may come to pass, tomorrow I will shave off my shikha and take sannyas. I will become a beggar at the doors of those who wanted to attack me. Then at least they will respect me as a sannyasi and offer obeisance to me. They won't be able to beat a sannyasi, right? Even if they just greet me with folded hands, they will gain auspiciousness. Nityananda, don't let yourself be sad about this. Tell me what the rules of sannyasa are. If you want to deliver the world, which is why you came, then do not forbid me from doing this. Nityananda is the main assistant to Gaur Sundar in his pastime of great magnanimity, which manifests as the bestowal of the treasure of prem. He knows everything, but still, when he heard Mahaprabhu's words, he became restless with agitation. In a voice choked with love, he said, Lord, you are the maintainer of all worlds, Lokanath, the master of all rules and injunctions. What rules will I inform you of? You know best the pastime of delivering the world. Whatever you do is vidhi, scriptural injunction. But still, O Lord, tell your devotees about this just once, and hear what they have to say just once. Hearing Nityananda's words, Gaurahari began embracing Nityananda again and again, and, satisfied, rejoined the assembly of Vaishnavas. Nityananda was speechless. He could not move, and he was bereft of outer awareness. After some time, the outer world flashed back to him, and he began thinking, how will I, Sachimata, maintain her life in Nimai's absence? She will not be able to live any. Thinking about Sachimata, Nityananda began weeping and became overwhelmed. What sweet pastimes Gauranga has. Gaurangira madhurlila jar karne praveshila hridaya nirmala bhelo tar. Once Gauranga's sweet pastimes have entered a person's ears, his heart has become purified. On one hand, you have the elderly Shachi Devi. Nimai is her life and soul. And on the other hand, you have the Lakshmi of all the worlds, Vishnupriya Mata. There is not a third person in the world who understands quite so well what it means to be an abandoned mother and wife. This was the situation in which Gaurahari decided to unveil his pastime of sannyas. Luckless, heartless, foolish, mundane householders that we are, what fortune do we possess whereby we may fathom this mercy of Gaura's pastimes? Gaur Sundar took sannyas this day to deliver pashandas like us, to infuse us unconscious beings with consciousness, to teach us how to search for Krishna, because I do not chant Krishna. He came to us to chant, because I think that I put we there. He came to get us to chant Krishna. Miscreant that I am, how will I understand even once how much the Lord is weeping today just for my sake? How many thorn-filled jungles of vicious wild animals has the Lord had to get through in order to get me to leave behind the Maya Mriga, illusory deer of I and mine? Will I be able to appreciate just once how the Lord is sending his very dear crown jewel of Avadhuts, the ocean of compassion, the very deep, or is it grave, sober, Nityananda? And with him, his dear associate, Namacharya Thakur Haridas, to my door, in order to get me to say Krishna. Is it not for me that Nityananda Rai is without anger and full of supreme bliss, roaming throughout the town, putting straw in his mouth to beg from those who will not chant, saying, buy me by worshipping Gaurahari? Is it not for me that the connoisseur of pathos, Shri Gaura Sundar, is casting Shachi and Vishnupriya into the ocean of separation? I salute my stone heart. I do not even have a chance of feeling all this. I am just burning in enviousness and turning into ash. And now for the news. I just need a drink of water. So, Nana Katha, various topics. After living here for 3 months and 25 days, and prior to leaving back to their country, members of the British Parliament, Mr. Purcell and Mr. J. Holsworth, have conveyed their sympathies for the laborers of India and communicated a farewell message on this topic. As your nation is wondrous with its history and opulence, so is the plight of its poor. We will return to our country and tell our nation's labor unions of your worrisome plight. If you can organize yourselves, we will be better able to take advantage of our assistance. It's a bit of hypocrisy there. Anyways. Wafda Party leader Mustafa Nahas Pasha has assumed the role of Prime Minister and formed a cabinet of ministers in Mishhar, Egypt. In Dohad, Bombay, a municipal school collapse, seriously injuring 20 teachers and 4 students. All are in hospital. Governor of the Orange Free State has acknowledged there is a possibility that a huge deposit of oil has been discovered in the Orange Kingdom. This is previously, it was separate. It's in South Africa. It was kind of surrounded by South Africa. The Afghan king's European tour over the past 3 months is not altogether without purpose. In Naples, Sir Percival Phillips met with the Afghan king and asked him, "Can I not say Afghanistan is a friend to Great Britain?" In response to that, the Honorable Emir said, "Let us go to London, talk to your Foreign Affairs Secretary, and see." Therein lies abundant truth in this statement of the Emir. The Emir favors friendship with the British government, and Great Britain also really needs the Emir's friendship when it comes to protecting Bharatvarsha. What is known of the conditions of the alliance is Great Britain will no longer keep British soldiers along the borders of India, and all the soldiers that are stationed on the border will be removed. The Afghan king will also ensure that the mountain tribes will not cause any disturbances on the borders of India. If soldiers are to be posted at the borders of India, the British government cannot do anything without informing the Emir. If these conditions are accepted by both sides, then steady peace can be hoped for. Hopes are that Afghanistan will soon establish economic ties with Egypt, Italy, and France. The Emir's goal is to develop trade. The Emir's meeting with the English and establishing friendship with them during his travels is greatly delightful news. This upcoming 21st and 22nd of April, the Faridpur Sammelan will convene. Dr. J.N. Mitra will be the chairperson. Shriyukta Sarala Devi, Shriyukta Subhash Chandra Bose, Shriyukta Kiran Shankar Rai, and other distinguished individuals will be in attendance. A Muslim youth named Sheikh Kalan disguised himself as a Hindu, introducing himself as Mahavir, and took a job in Calcutta's Boro Bazaar as a butler for one Marwari. One day, when the master of the house went somewhere, the Muslim youth took one of his boss's boxes of jewelry and fled. The police received word and arrested the thief in Dalhousie Square. Barasal attorney Shriyukta Hemant Kumar Rudra has been stabbed to death in the dark of night by some criminal. Last March 17th, around 11 a.m., a 9th grade 14-year-old student of Patuakhali School named Nripendranath Sen was arrested at his uncle's house as per Section 307 of the Indian Penal Code in relation to a murder in Patuakhali. Moscow's Soviet administration has released 2 of the 6 German engineers who were caught on charges of conspiracy at Russia's Donetsk coal mine. Any chance of a trade agreement between the Soviet Union and Germany has been ruined. In talks with the German ambassador, Chicherin said that the arrest of the Germans at the Donetsk coal mine was executed entirely in accordance with Soviet laws. There was no result to pressing for justice. The strike in Lilua involving 14,000 workers has gone on for over a week. If railway administration would not be compelled by stubbornness and would instead hear the complaints with steady hearts and quickly resolve the conflict, then everyone will benefit. 3 young Parsi men of unequaled courage named Jal Babasola, Rostam Brimagari, and Adi Hafiz set out on October 15th, 1923 to travel the earth by bicycle, and have traveled almost 45,000 miles in 4.5 years. As of the morning of March 18th, they have returned to Bombay. Mr. Horniman's magazine, the Indian National Herald, published a special 40-page issue in honor of their return. All the inhabitants of the city are proud of their accomplishments.
They bicycled around the whole entire globe.
I mean, you know,
And then
like
it boats from place to place, but
I think it was just around. I think I found an article. Did I? No, I don't think I did. But I'm assuming that it was just around like Eurasia, you know.
okay.
Yeah, Europe. The members of the Royal Commission have arrived in Gurudaspur from Firojpur as of March 18th. Government employees and distinguished residents of the city greeted them at the town hall. The Dhaka Police Office's former accountant Shri Yatindranath Rai Chowdhury has been charged with embezzlement of office funds. The case is ongoing. Farman Sardar, the leader of the gang that has orchestrated most of the dacoity that has occurred in various places in Barisal and Faridpur districts, has been arrested in Charmugdia last Wednesday. Disguised as someone selling homemade remedies, he went to the home of a rich man to scope out the place. Police arrested him as he was returning from this house. A terrible dacoity has occurred in a place called Palang. Almost 3,000 taka worth of cash and jewelry has been stolen. Reports are that a gang of dacoits snuck into Srinath Kaviraj's house in Rajganj village and forced the lady of the house to give up the key to the safe and fled with almost 3,000 taka worth of valuables. It seems police have received some information about the dacoit gang from a 14-year-old and are investigating. On the night of March 16th in the city of Bombay, when a train stopped at Victoria Terminus Station, a Sahib, Englishman, or European's dead body was found in one of the first-class cabins. There were signs of a gunshot wound to the Sahib's face, and he was clutching a pistol in his hand. All he had in his belongings were a first-class ticket from Bombay to Kanha Station and a handkerchief with the initials RP. Investigation as to whether this was murder or suicide is ongoing. Sounds like the beginning of a mystery novel. Many Patwakali youth have been arrested as per Section 55 in relation to the Satyagraha activism. Satyagraha was the civil resistance movement. Most of the youths are college students. Their parents are very worried about their sons after this arrest. It was heard that this March 17th in the afternoon of Tavudin, a member of the Sherkhandi Pariraksha Samiti informed the Kushtia district magistrate that police have beaten several persons at Kumarkali market and arrested them. Police from Kushtia arrived at the scene to investigate. And that is it for today, folks. Another day.
Sorry.
You know what?
I cut you off. Another day in Navadvīpa Nadīyā Chaitanya Gaudiya Math. I mean Chaitanya
Yes.
Math. Sorry. So there's no health section today. Do the next issues have a health section? Like, was that just like a short thing, or?
It pops up from time to time. Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't like completely consistent column, but it would just come up every now and then.
Yeah, every now and then. Yeah, it's interesting. Actually, there might not be one for quite a while.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it, folks. That's all the advice you're getting.
All right, so I guess we can, if anybody wants to see any of these articles, they're available on nadiyaprakash.com. And also you can go to Śrīvāsa's website, bigdrum.us, subscribe to his mailing list, and you'll receive all sorts of very interesting articles from our acharyas that have never been published in English before. I'll do a short Mahamantra and then we can end. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur, Hari Bol. You'd like to do Jaidwani?
जय श्री श्री गुरु गौरांग गंधर्व गिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन राधा बिनो बिहारी राधा रमन बिहारी जू की जय। जय नित्य लीला प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। जय नित्य लीला प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। श्रील भक्ति वेदांत त्रिविक्रम गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति विज्ञान भारती गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद दैनिक नदीय प्रकाश संपादक श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति प्रमोद पुरी गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। सपार्षद गुरु शिला भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। महाभागवत प्रभु श्री गौर किशोर दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। सप्तम गोस्वामी सच्चिदानंद शिला भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। गौड़ीय वेदांताचार्य श्री बलदेव विद्याभूषण प्रभु की जय। श्री विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जय। नरोत्तम श्रीनिवास श्री श्यामानंद प्रभु की जय। तृतीय शुभ आविर्भाव महामहोत्सव की जय।
Tirubhav, I think.
तिरुभाव महामहोत्सव की जय। जय श्री वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की जय। श्री कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शर गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रघुनंदन श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से गो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपी गोवर्धन द्वादश मंडल धाम की जय। राधा कुंज श्याम कुंज यमुना गंगा भक्ति तुलसी देवी की जय। सर्वाभिष्ट प्रदाता श्री गिरिराज महाराज की जय। सर्वाभिष्ट प्रदाता श्री गिरिराज महाराज की जय। भक्ति विघ्न विनाशंकारी श्री नृसिंह भगवान की जय। भक्त प्रभा श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्र सुदर्शन चक्र जू की जय। Yesterday it was Sun Purnima ki jai. Shri Jagannath.
Pastimes ki jai.
What was that?
I said their sickness pastimes ki jai. They're sick now.
Nice. Wait, it has a name. What is it? Anav Sarkal or something?
I don't know.
Okay. And Charidham Chari Sampradāyikatā Chari Acharya ki jai. Akar Mathara Shri Chaitanya Mat ki jai. Dainika Nadīyā Prakāśa ki jai. Tribhura Mangal Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत ऑनलाइन भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। थैंक यू टू एवरीवन। धन्यवाद प्रणाम्स वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Śrīvāsa.
Thank you.
Dandavat pranams, Śrīvāsa and Sarveshwari Mataji, Ashray Prabhu, Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Anadi Krishna Prabhu, Manjari Didi, Shubhananda Prabhu, Shri Devi Didi, and let's see on YouTube and Facebook. Raseshwari Mataji, Shripad Bhaktivedanta Sajan Maharaj, Hare Krishna Maharaj, pranams. And I see there are a few other people. Dandavat pranams to whoever that is. Thank you so much for joining, and see you next Sunday, or if anybody's joining the Bhaktivinoda Gita Thara program, see you tomorrow.
Is this recorded as well? Is this reading recorded every week?
It's all live
YouTube?
streamed on YouTube. It's live streamed on Śrīvāsa's Facebook page and my Facebook page, and Śrīvāsa's YouTube channel, my YouTube channel.
So not recorded though.
Yeah, recorded.
Well, it's like afterwards, it stays there, you know, the live stream. So yeah, yeah, it's recorded.
Okay, good.
Right. Oh, and I just noticed in the chat, wait, I think Nuri Hari Prabhu, wait, where is the chat? I think Nuri Hari Prabhu had a question. Oh yeah, he's asking, wait, do you mean Saragrahi and Bhavgrahi?
Oh yeah, Saragrahi.
And Bhavgrahi. He's asking if you can explain it.
Does Saragrahi mean Bhav? Asking Saragrahi.
Or maybe he's saying Bhavatarani Mataji is asking. I don't know. But yeah.
Okay, what I understood was because there's Saragrahi and then there's Bhavagrahi. So Bhavagrahi Janardana, the Lord accepts the moods of the devotees. But then Saragrahi is referred to, then there's Saragrahi versus Bharavahi, which sounds like Bhavagrahi. And that's taking the essence, like the Paramahamsas, the swan taking the essence, the milk from the water. And then the Bharavahi is like the Gadhas, the donkeys carrying all the burden of material knowledge. And
load, weight, right? And then Vahi means, like,
Vahi, like vehicle. And then Sridevi said, about this matter, Chaitanya Academy has made a full research about it. Chaitanya Academy, what's that? Oh, is that?
Yeah, that's about the birthplace of Mahāprabhu, right?
Interesting.
Have to check that out.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. Right.
Jai Shri Radhe. See you all next time. Hari Bol.